Hey there, welcome to our final project lecture. Um, our lecture will be based on Lab 14, which is Discovering Security Threats and Vulnerabilities. My name is Raymond, and with me is Mike, Melissa, Kazem, Vivan, and Raymond. We are from Mission College, taking CyberSecurity and Ethical Hacking course, and our professor is Professor Pandit. We divided this lab into 6 parts. I'll be handling the introduction as well as the objective, giving everyone a feel for what we're doing exactly. Vivan will be doing section 1. Melissa will be doing section 2. Raymond will be doing section 3, part 1. Kazem will be doing section 3, part 2. And Mike will be doing the risk analysis portion. In this lab, we'll be learning on how to scan remote system for open ports and vulnerability. We'll be using vulnerability scanners such as Nexus to find gaps within our system. If these gaps are not addressed, hackers can use tools such as Metasploit to attack our system and cause serious damage. There are new security threats that emerge every single day, especially now in the COVID quarantine era. Security professionals need to know how to identify these holes and patch them up. They'll be using tools such as Nmap and Nexus so they can identify weaknesses within systems. This is a quick overview of our topology. Now Vivan will begin on section 1.
In this section, we'll be scanning the network for vulnerable systems. To do this, we will be using an app called Nmap. So to start off, we will open the backtrack for an external Linux system, which I've already logged in, and we will be opening up the terminal to use Nmap. To get to know the commands of Nmap, we will type Nmap into the command prompt. And as you can see, we have a whole bunch of commands that pop up. These are the different commands that we can use with Nmap. So to perform a scan, we will be typing nmap-sp 10.10.10.19. The asterisk tells us that whatever is before the asterisk, the IP address, we will look for IP address starting with that. As you can see, we don't find anything yet. As you can see, we have found one host up, and this host is 10.10.19.1, which is the firewall attached to the external network. And then we see 10.10.19.148, that is the attacker machine. And now we also see 10.10.19.202, which is the victim machine. Next, we will be performing a TCP scan. So to do this, we will type nmap-st 10.10.19.202, where 10.10.19.202 is the victim machine. As you can see, we can see that there's FTP, Telnet, SMTP, Domain, HTTP, Kerberos, Sec, POP3, and some other ports open. So these are the different services that run on this computer. Now, next we're going to do a UDP scan, and to do this, we will type nmap-su 10.10.19.202, where 10.10.19.202 is the victim machine IP address. Now keep in mind that UDP is an unreliable protocol, so UDP scan results may be unreliable. So as you can see here, we've got domain, Kerberos-sec, NTP, MRCP, NetBIOS, MG, and some others. Now, for this step, we're going to be using ZenMap. ZenMap is a GUI version of Nmap. To start ZenMap, we're going to just type ZenMap. As you can see, this is the ZenMap GUI. So, once this opens, for the target IP address, we're going to type 10.10.19.202, and we're going to hit scan. This will scan the host computer 10.10.19.202 for different ports. As you can see, the results have popped up, and to view our ports that are open on this computer, we click on ports/hosts. So as you can see, there's a bunch of ports that are open, as we saw in the map scan. So yeah, that's it. To close it, we click the scan and then quit, and then we just click close anyway. And then for the bug report, we click close. That's it. Thanks for watching.
So here we're going to use Nessus from the Tenable Security, and it's a vulnerability scanner that indicates weaknesses in our operating system. This tool is often used by people working in the field of information assurance, and it tells which steps can be taken to patch the vulnerabilities. This subscription is actually free to home users, but the professional free is available for purchase. There are two parts to Nessus, the client and the server. They do not have to run on the same machine, but they can be both installed onto the same system. So we need to be able to open a terminal. Let's close this one down. And then we are going to do /etc /init.d /nessusd space and start. And then we should receive the message starting Nessus daemon. We're going to verify that the server is started by typing the following command: netstat -tanp. I'm going to select enter. I'm going to see the local IP address pop up. Then we're going to start the client by typing NESSUS. The window pops up. Localhost port 1241. The login is root. We're going to type the password Tor. TOOR. And we're going to click login. We're just going to click OK here. We're going to click the target button. We're going to type the IP address here, which is 10.10.19.202. We're going to start the scan. Now, when we click start the scan, it's actually going to take 20 to 30 minutes to scan. We're going to actually fast forward in the recording. Okay, and now to view the report, we click on Subnet. Then we click Host. Then we find the EMAP in the port list. Here it is. And then we click on the security hole. And we find the description on the bottom pane. Reports can be saved in the HTML format, but on this one, we're going to close the window to close Nessus, and then we're going to click No when we are asked if we want to save the report.
Okay. Now, let's go and introduce the Metasploit, which is a framework for exploitation. Metasploit has exploits for the Windows, Mac, Linux, and Unix operating systems, as well as some exploits for mobile devices like iPhone and Android phones. It actually started out as a game, which is kind of funny, but it's a serious tool that can be used to exploit vulnerabilities. Well, there are two versions of Metasploits, and commercial and of course the more professional version. But the point is, understanding how an attacker can use Metasploit can help us to be better security analysts. So now let's go ahead and start using that. To launch Metasploit, open up a terminal window and then try to type down this directory, cd pen test exploits framework, and now we are in this directory. Now let's start to launch Metasploit by typing this command which is in this exact directory. So it's going to be dot slash ms fconsole msf console and press enter, and we should see a new page. Well, not a new page, but something pops up. Yeah, here's the cool banner of Metasploit, and yeah, here's the commands for Metasploit MSF. Now, well, here's are a lot of things that we can do. For example, if we can use a question mark and enter, this brings up a lot of a lot of possible commands that we can use with this Metasploit that you will see here. Yeah. So as you just can see here, there are a lot of things: exit, help, info. Well, there are a lot of things. But really, the main things that we are looking at are some sort of specific commands which going to help us and show us the exploits. Well, as I just said, there are many exploits for many operating systems, but right now we are going to focus on Windows. So there is a specific command that they are offering, and it is search exploits Windows, and by doing so you just need to change the Windows keyword, and you can use it to Unix, to Linux, and to OS X for Macintosh, and so on. So that's just the magic here, and then press enter, and you can see here a list of the possible exploits that we can use against a Windows user. Let me just open this. Okay. yeah, it's a very, very long list. But for now, let us do something. Let us try to get more information about one of these individual exploits. Let's say we want to we want to attack a Windows Server 2003. So obviously we use search exploits Windows, but we are not sure if that exploits works on Windows 2003 server. So if it's going to be applicable for that. So now to make sure, we can use another command called info, and then we can just simply use another keyword, which is exploits, or no, just exploit with with a slash, and then, or a backslash, don't know the difference really. And then, for example, this one, I'm going to work with this one for now. So I'm going to just copy that, and then here I'm gonna paste it, and that should be it. Press enter, and then you get a lot of new information about this kind of specific way of attacking. And you can see here payload information description. This module exploits an arbitrary memory write flying the Windows. And let's see, let's find the version. So available targets here, Windows 2000. And yeah, you can see many things here. Oh, I just saw a platform. And yeah, there are a lot of things here. Let's see. Available targets, I think that's it. This means it's gonna be that, yeah. Okay. Hold on, do we have a Windows 2000? Well, I guess yes, we do. So that's an operating system. So that specific exploit will work only on that. Yeah, good to know. So next, let's try another thing. Let's try to search for DCOM exploit. It's another kind of exploit specific to the Microsoft products. So let's search DCOM. DCOM. Let's see what it brings here. Okay, so yeah, here we can see again a fairly shorter list of exploits. And let's examine one of these, which is, I'm going to examine this individual, this one. And I'm going to again use the info command. So right here, I'm going to type in info, and then pasting the rest of this command. So just like that, and then enter. So now again, by doing so, we can see that, like, get more information about it, the detailed information such as operating system that is working on, the ports needed to be open, and yeah, so on. So yeah, that's again kind of cool that you can see here. Windows NT Universal, yeah, 2003. So that works on Windows 2003. That's something that we really want for our attack. So this works well, I think. And yeah, here we can see a description and all and all and all. Okay, in order to exploit the remote system, we will need to specify the system's IP address, the target system IP address. And that's, of course, is going to happen remotely. So the term is rhost, stands for remote host. So in order to do that, we should set the IP address of the remote host. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to type the following command: set rhost 10.10.19.202, which is the IP address of our target or victim machine. Okay, let's press enter, and that accepted. Okay, now we are going to set our payload, which in this case we call it a meter-preter, which is a tool that helps us do our exploit process, and it has pretty cool features as well, and it's so strong. Now let us just set the payload. Windows. We set it by typing this command here: meter preter, and then reverse underscore TCP. Hit enter, and here it's accepted right here. Good. Now we also need to set our lhost, which is in this case the local host, which is the attacker, which is us. So let's set it. Just like we set our host. Let's set lhost. It's the IP address of our system that we are working with currently. Hit enter, and it's accepted right here. Okay. Now let's type this command to just make sure everything is going fine. Show options. So yeah, we can see here rhost, we can see lhost. It's just a quick summary of everything. Cool, it's going well. Now let's start the actual process of exploit. And by typing this intuitive command, exploit. And here we go. At the end, we should see this command here, meter-preter session 1 opened. And if we see that, we can proceed. This means everything is fine. So now we are in the system of the victim. So now by just typing a question mark, you can see a guide here, a help option that you can see all the possible commands that you can use. By typing this following command, get UID, you can see and determine which account you are running as. Net NT authority system. Now you can do a lot of things here, getting a lot of information about your victim systems. So by typing sys info, you can get the operating systems information. As you can see here, Windows.NET server. And also the good news is we can also open a PowerShell, Windows PowerShell, using just the meter-preter. So by typing execute cmd.exe -i, you can just enter the Windows command line here, PowerShell, and from here you can even add users. So let's say we are going to add a user. The username is hacker, and The password is password, and we are going to add it. So the account already exists. So yes, we already added. And now let's promote him to be an administrator. So let's type this command: local group administrator hacker, and let's add him. Oh yeah, since he's already there, because I already added him before starting this video. Okay, now you can just exit from all the open sessions here, and also you can exit from the current directory, and then we are done.
With the discovering and security threats and vulnerability exercises, we learn to do reconnaissance into the victim's server or computer and view their vulnerabilities using Nmap, Zenmap, and Nexus. We eventually tried to exploit the vulnerabilities by trying to remote into the victim's system by using Metasploit. This was done using Backtrack Linux as our base. What we are looking at now is the OWASP risk rating methodology spreadsheet. OWASP stands for Open Web Application Security Project. What they do is create a simple spreadsheet giving some variables that we fill in to assess hacking related risks in a business model. Being able to estimate the associated risks with the business is to determine what to do with the information next, whether they would like to spend money to fix it or if it's even worth fixing. Basing this off of our recon and exploit exercise, we can use Amazon as our business model to estimate the risk factors associated with it. Amazon is a huge company being used by 197 million people around the world. Their stock price speaks for itself as it closed today at about $3,233 per share. The company has 1.4 million servers. As we look through and fill out the risk spreadsheet, we will work left to right, top to bottom. So we could look at the skill. These are threat agent factors, vulnerability factors, technical impact, and business impact. So we'll go left to right, top to bottom. So how technically skilled is this group of threat agents? This would be around 0 to no technical skills to 9 to high technical skills. So it's around a 6. Their motive. How motivated is this group of threats agents to find and exploit the vulnerability? And we give this an 8 because there's a possible high reward. Opportunity. What resources and opportunities are required for this group of threat agents to find and exploit the vulnerability? So they should have full access or no access to some resources. And as we can see, we're able to get some of those resources. So I would say about a 6. How large is this group of threat agents? I would say anybody on the web or anybody has access to the internet could and have the motive to do this or try to hack into them would be able to. So I chose a 9. Any internet user. As we move to the right, ease of discovery. How easy for this group of threat agents to discover this vulnerability? Pretty difficult since Amazon is a huge company and it's an e-commerce base, so it has pretty high security. Ease of exploit. How easy for it to this group of threat agents to actually exploit the vulnerability? I would give it 0 to hard or easy. So I chose a 4. Awareness. How well known is this vulnerability to this group of threat agents? It's either obviously there or it's hidden. So I chose about 5. Intrusion detection. How likely is an exploit to be detected? I'm sure the Amazon logs and reviews all their information, so I would choose a 3. As we go down to technical impacts, loss of confidentiality. How much data could be disclosed and how sensitive? So given the amount of people that are using it and their information in the Amazon database, I'm sure it's extensive critical data to be disclosed, given addresses, names, and credit card information. How much data could be corrupted and how damaged is it? So this is the loss of integrity, and it's pretty extensive. It's either no minimum or extensive, so it's pretty extensive. Loss of availability. How much servers could be lost and how vital is it? I would say 0, since they have about 1.4 million servers that could get backed up and could get back on the web right away. Loss of accountability. How are the threat agent's actions traceable to an individual? You can see that 0 is fully traceable. You know who the person is that's trying to hack into the account, or completely anonymous. So I would say about 8, given that there are a bunch of anonymous internet users that could do this, and it's possibly hard to trace, most likely hard to trace. And then financial damage. This is a business impact. So with the financial damage, how much financial damage will result in from the exploit? It's probably very little, less than the cost to fix the vulnerability, since the company is so huge and it's worth it has so much money invested in it. Reputation damage. How would an exploit result in a reputation damage or would harm the business? I mean, you either go on the low side of minimal damage or the brand damage. Given Amazon as it is, it has so many businesses in each sector that I'm sure the reputation won't be harmed as much. Non-compliance. How much exposure does non-compliance introduce? So it's either a 0 minor violation or a high profile violation, and it's around 4. I would give it a 4 because it's not so high that it's gonna break. Because when you sign up for Amazon, there are contracts that are to be filled out, and so I'm sure there won't be any high violations for the company, since they're just putting it mostly on their customers. Privacy violation. How much personal identifiable information could be disclosed? I mean, there's about 197 million people worldwide that is using Amazon. So I would say, if any information is disclosed, it could come from millions of people. So what we could identify here is the overall likelihood and overall impact. With our information filled in, we could look at the legend down here, and it shows that this is a medium, and this is also a medium. So the medium likelihood is here, and then the impact medium is here. So this would give our recon and exploit exercise a medium risk for Amazon. And that's how we look at this spreadsheet. And then we could give this to Amazon and see what they would do with this information. But given that it's less than the cost to fix the vulnerability, I'm sure they would not do anything about it. Thanks.